Mondraker electric bikes are finally coming to the US in 2021. These Bosch, Shimano, and Mahle powered electric bikes are coming all the way from Spain, and we could not be more excited. Haven't heard of Mondraker? Well, if you live in the United States, that is actually not a huge surprise. Their distribution previously to this has been small in the United States, especially in the e-bike category. But that all changes this year as Mondraker comes to fly rides in 2021. You are going to be able to get your hands on these unique eMTBs in the near future. So we want to delve into what makes these bikes so special. Today we are talking Mondraker electric mountain bikes. So at first glance, you might be thinking, great, I have another eMTB brand I have to learn all the specs on and stuff like that, and it's probably not even gonna be that different. But here's the thing, if you dig a little bit deeper, these bikes are incredibly unique and pretty different than anything offered on the market right now. The first thing that riders should know about the Mondraker eMTBs is the Xero suspension system. Now, this is not Xero as in the bike having zero suspension. It's actually a really effective suspension system, but rather zero pedal bob, zero interaction with braking, and overall zero loss of efficiency. You'll notice this secondary brace arm on both sides that allows the rear triangle to kind of float and be rigid, which also adds a lot of stability and allows for higher speeds into corners, and again, that zero pedal bob feel. Maybe the more unique aspect of it is the dual linkage system. You've got one Rock-A-Link on top and one Rock-A-Link on bottom that allows that rear shock, again, to kind of float and compress from both sides. So you've got compression from the top and compression from the bottom, which allows for maximum absorption on big impacts, but it reduces the amount of travel used on smaller bumps. The other cool thing about the Xero suspension system is that with the increased popularity of eMTBs and Mondraker's commitment to building more eMTBs, they actually updated the Xero suspension system so that it was e-bike optimized, like a lot of companies have done with their forks and rear shocks. What this has meant for Mondraker specifically is that they have reduced the amount of chain stretch that you're going to get on your eMTB, especially when it compresses, and it's going to have less compression on those uphill climbs. Plus, it's going to reduce that pedal bob on flatter portions. So if you're gaining speed on fire roads or single track portions that are a little bit flatter, maybe it's kind of pump tracky sort of stuff, you do have pretty minimal pedal bob because of this optimized Xero suspension for eMTBs. Another key piece of technology you want to be aware of is Mondraker's forward geometry. So this basically generated in this idea that they wanted to have better handling with their longer wheelbase bikes. So basically that longer wheelbase along with a more aggressive head tube angle is great for downhill speeds, but it sometimes can leave your bike feeling like a boat in handling. Like it's just not very efficient sometimes. It's generally what happens with these kind of bikes. So they've taken care of that issue with this front end that's a lot shorter, so you can see that shorter stem there. So what Mondraker says this is going to allow for is just overall better control. So essentially, you're gonna have that downhill speed still that you would want on an enduro bike and more control in those situations, but you have a lot more control as well going into turns and on single track portions where you need better handling. But there's only one way to find out if this is going to be the case, and that is to ride the bike. So we are so stoked about this brand coming to the United States that we actually had myself, Austen, and Hector all take out this bike so that you can get 3 different perspectives from 3 different levels of riders. We've got me, not so good, Hector, pretty good, and Austen, pretty good. So we are riding the 2020 Mondraker Dusk RR today. This bike falls pretty much right in the middle of what Mondraker offers. It's an all-mountain / enduro bike with 160 millimeters of travel up front, 150 in the rear. Of course, you're getting that Xero suspension system, a Shimano motor, a SRAM GX 12-speed derailleur, and of course that forward geometry that Mondraker patented. So we all took the Mondraker Dusk RR out separately. I went out on more single track stuff. Hector was doing some serious enduro riding at Rocky Peak, and Austen's doing a mix of the 3 and also sending it off some jumps like you know Austen likes to do. So this will give you a pretty good idea of what this bike is capable of no matter what level of rider you are. So let's hop on the Mondraker Dusk RR and give it a shot. All right, you guys, so we're gonna be testing out the Dusk RR, of course. I do want to focus on this forward geometry. You can feel, I'm on the medium frame right now, and I have to say, I would stick with the medium frame. The small would probably be too small for me. This is something I had heard about these and seen in the geometry. The seat tube lengths are shorter, a lot shorter. This is only a 42 centimeter. So smaller riders might like this, but that wheelbase you can feel is a little bit longer. But pretty much with the seat all the way forward, I have pretty much the exact right amount of give in my my elbows here. So let's give it a shot, see how it feels on the ride. A little bigger there, all right. Wow, all right. Testing it on the climbs. This is one of the things you're most curious about. I am seated right now. They're supposed to climb really well. Yeah, I mean, for an enduro bike, that wheel staying on the ground, you can tell that wheelbase is definitely helpful, but it did feel very nimble. We're about to see how nimble right here. Whew. Yeah, this thing can move. It is a fast bike. I've never moved this quickly down this section before.
Mondraker's eating everything up. Like I said, normally I don't really go, and it doesn't look like I'm going that fast, but I don't go even this fast with a brand new bike and a brand new trail. But this is so confidence inspiring. The Dusk RR, chunky. Whew. First time down on this trail, so I'm trying not to go too hard, but it's good stuff. Oh, this thing is just rolling over everything. I already made a mistake, and this is quite forgiving.
We're gonna hit some really steep technical terrain on this trail, so to really test it out, drop it in. There we go, we're about to drop off the edge. Cross my fingers. Oh, nice little rock roll right there. This is basically straight down if you can't tell. Oh, some nice trail work done after the rain. Respect to those people who were out here digging. Ooh, love that one.
Wow. I mean, the forward geometry feels unbelievable. I really can't believe how great it is at sticking to the ground, but also the amount of agility you get. Like, again, I'm getting with these 160 bikes lately where maybe I'm just getting more comfortable on enduro bikes, but I think what it is that they have redefined these enduro bikes so that they are more agile and just an overall better experience in terms of an all-around ride. It's not just downhill speeds on the Mondraker bikes, you are also getting some refined precision into corners and on single track sections.
Oh yeah, look at this. I'm not sure if you guys can hear it, but the suspension's eating it up. I mean, I guess I could have gone softer, but it's doing such a good job. Fox suspension, thank you.
Let's take it off a few jumps and drops. See how the weight feels. Woo! Oh, you're good.
Yeah. Into my favorite section. It's a single track. The world. It's a single, and then more of this craziness. Ooh, riding that line. Gotta be careful through there. Definitely had to slow up a little bit, but that's all right. Here we go. I had to check that line because of the rain, but it's still good. This is a fast bike. Really, really good stuff. I almost don't even need it to be an e-bike. Hang on a second, look at that view. Gosh, I love this city.
See how the Mondraker handles down the fire road. See if I tilt down the camera a little bit more. There we go. We got a little bit of rain the other day, so definitely a lot grippier than it normally is here in Southern California. So we'd love to have that. Take the inside right here. Tires are sliding, but the grip is there. So yeah, on this ride, man, we tested fire road, some jumps, berms, steep technical single track. Now we're about to tackle the last bit. You can see it right there, that ridge line right down into Brand Park. It's an old fire break, incredibly steep, pushes close to 45% grade in some sections. So let's go see how this thing handles down it. All right, then, have a good one. So much grip today after the rain. It's insane, actually. Here are these bushes. Woo! Oh, 37 miles an hour. Let's go.
I mean, really, this bike is just nothing but a good time. Everything I've thrown at it, it has handled, and it looks like Austen and Hector had similar experiences. Let's break it down one more time back in the shop. We'll see you there. Man, riding that Dusk RR really made me want to get on these 2021 bikes. You guys know I love a rigid rear triangle, anything to reduce pedal bob and increase efficiency. I love climbing up hills and turning that aspect of e-mountain biking into a little bit of a sport. And Mondraker eMTBs make that aspect of e-mountain biking even more fun. You can definitely see why a lot of mountain bike brands have followed suit with the shorter stems and a more forward, aggressive geometry, because making the geometry more aggressive in this way, where you're increasing the wheelbase and top tube length, but decreasing that stem length, does allow for more handling, but way increased stability. It's a pretty incredible experience. So let's talk briefly about the lineup. Most of Mondraker's eMTBs are going to be pretty enduro and all mountain focused. You've got that Crafty, Dusk, and Chaser lines all falling in that enduro all mountain lineup. That is how Mondraker lines them up. I would say they're definitely a bit more enduro focused. But again, the way that Mondraker does both their geometry and their suspension does allow for a little bit more versatility compared to a traditional enduro eMTB. This means single track was a lot more fun and climbing was way easier than on most enduro bikes. If you're looking to get more into downhill, some more intense speeds downhill, what Mondraker calls super enduro, you have got the level series of bikes above those three. To be totally honest, riding a Mondraker bike is an experience I have been waiting for a long time. They really redefined, again, that eMTB geometry specifically, with that shorter stem allowing for that more aggressive handling style, while still allowing stability with those longer top tubes and longer wheelbases. So I was really excited to ride these bikes. I have been for a while, and it did not disappoint. I am sure the full lineup is going to be no different, so keep an eye out for our reviews on these Mondraker bikes. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the Fly Rides Electric Bike channel if you want to stay up to date on Mondraker. This is one of the most exciting eMTB brands right now, and if you are a serious eMTB rider looking to take their game to the next level, Mondraker eMTBs could be the option for you. Thanks for watching, you guys, and until next time, enjoy the ride.